The Gators received a commitment from RJ Moten. He's a safety, DB linebacker prospect. I think Florida's recruiting him at just safety right now. From the University of Michigan. His father, Ron Moten, previously had played for the University of Florida as well. But RJ Moten is the first transfer portal player that the Gators get this year. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on RJ Moten?
I thought it was a good get. At a position of need, we spoke about possibly adding a safety into that room, a veteran safety. I like Miguel Mitchell. Kamari Wilson has some development still to do. So there's just a lot of inexperience back there. He comes in with 10 starts last year. I think he had something like 99 snaps. Very good as far as production. Haven't given up a touchdown in all of those snaps. Someone was saying that he lost his job, maybe down the stretch at Michigan. But regardless, you get a guy that's coming in and is going to be penciled in as a starter. A lot of experience and coming from a good program with Harbaugh out there. So I don't think he's coming from a place where I'm worried about him being a toxic or ruining the locker room. So I like that we got him in. He didn't take a bunch of visits. You know, you get your guy in, he commits on the visit, and they shut it down. But I'm satisfied with that get for my safety room for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you needed it. He has more college snaps than everyone in the safety room combined. You needed depth. I think, like Silk said, he's a guy who can come in and start. He's some people took what I wrote wrong. I think he's a thumper. He can hit you hard. Had some tackling issues last year at Michigan. I think that's kind of what led to him losing his spot. It was also a playoff team. So we're talking about levels. Michigan was a much better team. He didn't lose his spot he probably lost his spot to someone who would also start at Florida.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, great
point. So, I think you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but like this was one of the last four teams playing football games. He lost his spot to on a very good football team. Hasn't allowed a touchdown pass in coverage. So a guy who I think checks the box immediately for depth, experience, veteran leadership. You had to have that in that room. And two, a guy who I think is going to come in and compete right away to start August 31st.
Absolutely. Right on the same page there.
Always, man.
The Gators also hosted running back, from Houston, Alton McCaskill this weekend. I know a lot of folks are wondering why, with Florida having a pretty stacked running back room, why the Florida Gators are hosting a running back. My thoughts are, and then I want to hear yours. You have a team that needs talent, needs playmakers, and you have the opportunity for him to be at the program for the next 3 years. You always look at the opportunity, whether you are skilled in that room or not, to always try to find additional upgrades. But Silk, want to get your thoughts on Alton McCaskill.
Like you say, he had 3 years. He has 3 years to play, but he's talented-wise. He's good enough to press, in my opinion, Montrell Johnson and Trevor Etienne for snaps. Cam Carroll came in from Tulane. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it all pans out. But he got 961 yards as a rookie out there in the AAC. Got rookie of the year in that league. Had an ACL tear in 2022, so he sat out. But seemingly bounced back with Holgerson and the Houston squad for spring. Had a solid spring. They actually were shocked that he entered the portal. So a very good get, man. I think you should be carrying 5 backs. It's an opportunity for good roster management. We missed on Mark Fletcher down the stretch. He went to Miami, so you feeling the need a body. We wanted to bring in 2 backs last year. We only brought in 1. So obviously there was a missing spot on the roster. They fill him in if we get him, because I don't know if we get him. He's going to take some more visits, it seems here. But if you get him, you get a guy that fills in the roster need, but he's also proven, especially if he's off of that tear, man. I love his film. Everything about it. You cut it on. Whether it's Auburn, SEC programs, ACC, or in the league he's playing in, he got off as a true freshman. So I love his film, and I think he's going to be a guy that, if he does come, you could pencil Trae Young Wellbeing for a red shirt.
Yeah. It's that meme of the guy. It's like a trade. It's a guy with the slick back hair in the room that's kind of lit up, and it's like Gator fans were like, I want quarterback, and it's like you'll receive another running back. So I think that's where like the anger about it was, but dude can play. has 3 years to play, and you're going to lose Montrell. 90% most likely. I'd be surprised if Montrell Johnson's playing at Florida in 2 years. He's going to go to the draft after this year. You lose Cam Carroll. So I don't understand. And this is one of the kids, like Florida has tried to move in silence so much in the portal. They tell guys not to publicize when they're getting offered out of the portal. This kid tweeted when he got his offer, and people on our message board were like, "You're wrong." This kid tweeted. I'm like, this kid's good enough to do whatever the hell he wants. Right. And Florida will still say yes and take you. So to me, everything Silk said. Yeah, this kid can play right away. Give you another back for five really. And yeah, to me, if you can get him, absolutely. I thought Colorado bound as they've gotten like 50 new scholarship players.
Yeah, 59.
Deion's working like a drive-through. Just come on, the new guy in. But
just
I think
poaching FSU.
And right now, where the state of the roster is, if
Buffaloes is what they call it there.
Buffaloes, I like that.
Where the state of the roster is, I don't care what position is. If you can get talent, you need to get talent on this roster yesterday.
Yep, absolutely. And obviously there's a limited amount of talent that's left. Again, the old adage has been talked about. There's a reason why players, in the transfer portal, the amount of players that are going to upgrade Florida's roster are relatively limited. I know you could say that's tongue in cheek. Florida needs a lot of help. Obviously Florida does, but you also have to factor in all of the other things, right? Can they transfer to Florida? What are they looking for? Where are they from? What opportunity are they looking for? And do they match and fit with what Florida's looking for? So getting a guy like McCaskill, I think would be awesome. You get a talented running back in. Again, like you said, Silk, you're most likely losing 2 people next year, right? And that leaves Etienne, who, if he does what we think, would probably go to the NFL the year after that. You still could have another year of McCaskill, depending on, what his carries and reps look like. You have the opportunity for Tryon Webb. You have obviously the other recruits that are coming in. So Florida can get him. I completely understand the take and think that it would be a great get for the University of Florida.
And we'll see if NIL gets to a point where running backs are staying and it makes sense to stay. But the NFL doesn't value the running back position the way it used to. So you're trying to get to your second contract. I know we had a couple of running backs go in the first round this year, but I don't know. You have to be like a Bijan Robinson kind of running back to get that guaranteed 5-year contract in the first round. So to me, it makes no sense for running backs to stay for 4 years. If you're an NFL talent, it makes no sense to spend a 4th year in college and get that extra tread on your tires. You need to get to the NFL because it's not about your first contract, it's about your second. Maybe NIL gets you to a place where if you're like a fringe 4th, 5th rounder, but then if you're that, then are you making enough in NIL to hold off on the NFL? So you need, like Silk said, you need 5 guys. You need to always be recruiting running backs to have that backup, because it's really a position where if you're a dude, you're only going to spend 3 years in college.
Absolutely. On the other recruiting front, the Gators do lock in another commitment with 4-star wide receiver Izaiah Williams out of Carrollwood Day High School in Zephyr Hills, right outside of Tampa, Florida. He holds offers from Miami, LSU, Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, South Carolina, Tennessee, Florida State, and the list goes on. Coming off of an injury last season, but is ranked 4 stars by On3 and Rivals, 3 stars by 247 and ESPN. The On3 overall average for him is the 297th best player in the country and 50th overall wide receiver in the country. Your thoughts on Izaiah Williams?
I like it. Good get. I think he plays in the slot, could play outside. He has NFL pedigree. Dad played in the NFL, tested at one of these camps, man. Which camp was it? Under Armour next camp. He ran a 4.46, which is the fastest time at that camp. So it looks like he's bounced back from the injury. I think if you look at his film, very explosive on special teams, punt return, kickoff return. Could use some work with just getting off the line of scrimmage versus jams on his release. But outside of that, man, a guy that can run, top end speed routes, intermediate routes, plucks the ball out of the sky. We're cooking in the Tampa area. That's what I think about this kid, man. We'll see if we can get TJ Moore.
What was the overall reaction? It seemed underwhelming on the timeline.
Yeah, I think everybody wanted JoJo Trader yesterday or the day the kid committed or something like. And do I think this kid's gonna rise? I think he was out a full season. I think when you see him as a full season, he's gonna have a Eugene Wilson like rise in his rankings. I think he could be a top 200 kid, 150 kid. That's just my opinion. But you got to look at the offers. The kid that was out last year and his film. Like, he's an explosive guy, track guy. He runs a 10-9, 10-800 meter. People that are looking for like the big Jeremiah Smith and the JoJo Trader names, you got to build an entire wide receiver room. Are they still recruiting Jeremiah Smith? Obviously, we are. He set up a visit, so a great get by the staff, man. I think like the ceiling of this kid is through the roof.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I didn't know a bunch about him, pardon me, but film looks good. Solid player. Again, Silk, like you said, you're building a room. You're not just recruiting one guy or just two guys. Not everybody's going to be a Jeremiah Smith. You need your other folks that are going to be on that roster. Looks like a good take. Florida's still in it for a lot of other players. I know Florida fans expect, because you have DJ Lagway, that you're just going to knock it out with 4 other 5-star wide receivers, and that's just not how it works. Carrollwood Days, a program that's produced a lot of athletes. Like you said, Silk, good pedigrees, 5'11 and a half, almost 6 feet, probably still growing. Has the opportunity to play slot or outside. It'll depend on what happens, going into this season, obviously. And, nobody's signed on the dotted line yet, right? If he doesn't recover the way that Florida wants, or doesn't look like it's going to be an opportunity at Florida's not going to sign him, right? But I do trust Billy Gonzalez. I do trust the analysis that they've done on these offensive players. I don't think that they've missed on a lot over the last year and a half or so on taking these guys that maybe are a little bit more under the radar. Perfect. And Silk, you mentioned Jeremiah Smith did lock in a visit for the Gators in the next few weeks. He will be here with DJ Lagway on June 2nd through June 4th.
And then they complain about that.
Right. That was actually my next topic of conversation. Timeline doesn't ever seem to be happy. You get a guy to come onto campus.
I think
he's just trying to get a free trip. Guy doesn't come onto campus. These guys
it ain't your money. That ain't your money. Shut up. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Just being mad for the sake of being mad. That was one of the most wild takes. Can't keep giving this guy free food. Shut up. My goodness.
What are you talking about? I give him a voucher wherever you want to eat in Gainesville, man. If University of Florida runs out of money for Jeremiah Smith, just give me a call. I got an NIL.
Yeah. I'll Venmo some money over for a Dragonfly meal or a Mark's Prime or an Embers meal, right?
Yeah. But now, good setup, man. Good job by the staff. Right? They haven't landed him, but there's been continuing Jeremiah Smith flirting with University of Florida on timeline. He seemingly have a relationship with DJ Lagway. Beating out Brian Hartline isn't a walk in the park, but you got to be in it to win it. If he's scheduling official visits to come and hang out with DJ Lagway, let's do it. Our wide receiver room is going to be good with. As long as we got Billy Napier, he's gonna recruit studs in the wide receiver room. That's where he made his name. But meanwhile, you get the dogs on campus. See if we can get them.
Listen, this is what the last staff, in my opinion, didn't do. You're gonna lose some of these recruiting battles, but the last staff wasn't even taking swings. It was like, crap, he committed to Ohio State. That's cool. Who's the next one on the board? He likes Notre Dame. Who's 7th? Let's try 7 on our board. This staff doesn't care if you're committed somewhere else. If you're the number 1 player, we want you. We're going to continue to recruit you. So you're going to lose some of these battles. You're going to get trolled because you're going to lose some of these battles. But you're fighting for, this staff is fighting for these kids. And you're going to eventually start winning some of these. And that's how you get back to having an elite team, is by getting elite talent. And you have to recruit against elite recruiters to get that to your campus.
Already.
All right. I do want to show Eugene Wilson just put out a video.
Bro, get me more. Ooh, hello, Dan, with the muting, please.
Yeah, he think he me. Look at him. There we
go. Let me see if I can find this thing. I want
to
see.
Look at that get up, man. It's release off the line is just it's crazy, bro. Super explosive kid, man. I want to I may have to walk back my Andy Jean being the best freshman year out of that. Even though Eugene didn't show up for spring, it's gonna be hard keeping him off the field, bro. It's gonna be difficult.
Let me drop this in here. I want to see how many.
Just tell him to go.
Silk a question. I think Eugene Wilson. If Ricky Pearsall had left, Eugene Wilson is a day one starter. Now I don't know if he is anymore with Ricky, but it is. It's bad news. Eugene Wilson enrolling is going to be bad news for Ty Jacquiao Bowman.
Who?
Ty Bowman. Jacquiao. I got my pronunciation guide, Silk, so I'm locked and loaded with my pronunciations.
I ain't even started trying to learn how to say his name because I knew Eugene was coming. Yeah, pause.
So, hello.
Called it
that video I just dropped in. I want to Silk. This reporter out there in Texas was catching or attempting to catch some passes, a little slant, little 5-yard ins from DJ Lagway. When Dan cues it up, Dan's towards the end of that video. How many passes? These are fastballs. How many out of 10 do you think you're pulling into the chest and turning upfield with?
We're almost there. Just wanted to get to the right spot in the video.
Yeah, bear with us. We don't have a production team or anything around here.
Yeah, it's just us, just doing our thing.
Yeah. Let me see.
Got the Airbnb Wi-Fi.
Yeah, got that Airbnb Wi-Fi.
That's a Colorado hamster.
All right,
got that Obama internet, bro.
How'd the other one work just fine? All right, hold on. We're just playing. While that pulls up.
Man, me and Zach, when we were out there for the Texas A&M game, we were trying to go see him, but he had gotten hurt, didn't end up not playing in that last game.
All right, it's coming up soon.
Is Derek Senior? Dude, he still looks young.
He is young, Nick. I think he's 16, 17 years old.
He was 16, man. That's crazy.
Look at Mike. As soon as it gets to that, there you go. Oh, drop one. Whoop, whoop. Does not look. Gets on you quick there, Silk.
Who's he throwing to?
It's the reporter, a TV news guy out there in Texas.
I was about to say his name is
How many? It's getting on you quick. How many of those you catching?
I played DB for a reason, so I'm be honest on the show. I didn't have the best hands. I could catch, but I didn't have the best hands, and I don't have the biggest hands. So I don't know, man. I might break a finger or something. He got a rocket.
I think I'm going to go for 3.
If you're going 3, give me 9. If Dan can get 3,
I said 0 for 3. 0 for 3. So
I said 10. 10. You get 10.
Oh, out of 10. Were they all that short, like little slant where he's rocking?
Yeah. No, it's coming. It's getting.
It's coming in hot. I'll give myself 2.
I'm catching 7.
You are not catching 7, Nick.
7 with the gloves away from
Bro,
the body.
that is nuts.
Catching 7.
All right, cool. Next tailgate we have, you're running 10 routes.
You're gonna bring a mitt.
I'm catching. I got my old Ichiro Mizuno
catching
model.
After this thing, Nick, is win. That's all you're gonna be doing.
I'm catching 7. PJ DJ's putting it in stride, which is noticeably slower than
I think your pace will be a little off what he's used to.
Yeah. Well, it's a 7-step drop for my 5-yard slant.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's how we get the timing right.
Yeah. He's got to dodge some tackles too.
Yeah.
Step up in the box. Nick's still at yard 4. I get it.
My slant is a long read progression.
I do want to let the fans know that June 2nd weekend is a big weekend, but 2nd and the 9th, just for y'all, the casuals that don't follow recruiting like us maniacs, June 2nd should be a really big day. PJ DJ will be back in the town. We mentioned Jeremiah Smith. I don't have the entire list. It'll keep building, but that's just a date to keep in mind if you want to cut your notifications on for possible commits that weekend. That's a weekend you may want to.
Yeah, and I do want to say that I think Florida looks really, really, really good for Christopher Jones, linebacker out of Virginia.
Yes, sir.
You got to give Jay Bateman, his credit where credit's due. He came in, didn't recruit super well right off the, right out of the gate, but you saw some improvement from Ventrell Miller. Obviously, a huge improvement from Amari Gaynor. Now the Gators have one of the best linebacking commit groups in the country, if not the best right now.
Absolutely.
And looking at another highly ranked 4-star in Christopher Jones, you're talking about building for the future, and you got to give Jay Bateman credit where credit is.